Good morning. This is Kevin Scott of Liberty University's online program, History of the United States 530, the history of Christianity in the United States and Canada. This morning I'm recording from a hotel lobby located in Dubai as I travel between Afghanistan and my home in California. I'd like to briefly discuss an element of the critically important fundamentalist modernist controversy that I found important and interesting, and that is the Scopes trial. It's also known as the State of Tennessee versus John Thomas Scopes, or simply the Scopes monkey trial. It was a July 1925 lawsuit against a substitute high school teacher, Mr. John T. Scopes. Mr. Scopes was accused of teaching evolution in a public school, violating the Tennessee Butler Act. The public trial was held in the small town of Dayton, Tennessee, and was made a public spectacle. A radio show broadcast the trial across the nation. The trial publicized the fundamentalist modernist controversy, evolution versus creation. Williams Jennings Bryan, the three-time presidential candidate, argued for the prosecution, while Clarence Darrow defended Mr. Scopes. Scopes was found guilty and fined $100, which in today's terms would be about $1,300, but the verdict was overturned on a technicality. The trial itself was truly had nothing to do with whether Mr. Scopes was guilty or innocent. It was truly just a public stage, if you will, for this argument to be made public and to be brought out into the public eyes. Fundamentalist versus modernist, or again, evolution versus creation. The influence on the public can be seen in the following newspaper articles from the time period. Dr. Karl Veth, professor of theology at the University of Vienna and the president of the International Institute of Religious Psychology, is quoted in the 10 July 1925 issue of the Evening Star as saying, "The Scopes trial has aroused intense interest here in Vienna and is the subject of heated debates in Vienna scholastic circles. He spent time following the works of Ernst Heinrich Haeckel, a celebrated German naturalist and supporter of Darwinism. Dr. Veth urges Americans to trust neither side and to research the issues for themselves." I found this article pretty interesting because it shows the international stage, not just the stage in America, how deep this issue is. In another issue of the Evening Star published on 27 July 1925, one day after William Jennings Bryan's death, quotes of multiple influential people of the time were put in this article and describe their feelings of the defender of creation. Some of those, excuse me while I find it. Some of these quotes include Governor Smith of New York: "He was a vigorous America, and even those who differed from his ideas had great regard for him." Even Clarence Darrow said he was a man of strong convictions and always imposed his cause with the ability and courage. I always respected his sincerity and devotion. Arthur Garfield Hayes of the Defense Counsel: "The defense attorneys left Dayton happy in the thought that they had won a moral victory, but the taste is bitter when followed by such transgending. While we all disagree with Mr. Bryan and consider his views a menace, yet we admired his fighting gameness and his courage. Had he wished to remain off the stand at Dayton, he would have had the support of the court, but he was so sure of his position, he thought nothing could demolish it. I believe Mr. Bryan's greatest disappointment was in being shut off from making the speech of his life." Well, I hope these examples go to show how important and influential the Scopes trial was. Thank you for your time, and thank you for a great class.